Hey guys, Frizzy Brony here. We're back with another episode thoughts and review. And this one is episode 21. I believe the episode was called Daring Don't. After all these Daring Do episodes seem to try and get daring into it, so if I'm getting a bit confused, I apologize. Now, we are coming very, very close to the series and the show ending. In fact, I think there's 2 more episodes before we have what I believe is a 3-parter finale, or it was this next week's, and then we begin the 3-parter. Majorly excited for that one. That is going to be absolutely mental. But this is the episode that we have the Daring Do appearance for this season. And as usual, it's going to be a Rainbow Dash episode, although it brings someone that you may not actually expect into the fold a little bit. But we'll get there. First, we're going to start at the beginning and work our way through as we always do. So we start seeing Rainbow Dash's home, which, compared to everyone else's home, she lives in a mansion. I find it so weird that we always see that her home is this massive sort of Roman Greco column spire waterfall creation. And the interior looks a lot like the Wonderbolt Academy, which for Rainbow Dash is kind of understandable. And we see someone is returning a book they may have borrowed. We knew it was going to be a Rainbow Dash episode right from the get-go, but still, it'll be nice to see.
Oh, I just stopped by to thank you for letting me borrow your Daring Do books. I love them.
Wait till you get to Daring Do and the Riddle of the Sphinx!
Yes, it seems Fluttershy has been welcomed into the cult of Daring Do, now being able to roll off all of the different book titles ad verbatim like her, and Twilight, and many, many others. But it seems that she has one book that Rainbow has not actually heard about.
I read them all, from Daring Do and the Sapphire Statue to Daring Do and the Fallen Idol.
Fallen Idol? That's not in the series.
Oh, it just came out last week. Maybe that's why you haven't heard of it?
No way! Daring Do's biggest fan, me, would miss a book coming out.
Are we going to see Quibblehoof again?
AK Yearling always sends me a copy.
What is this? A Daring Do book that our rainbow-maned heroine does not know about? Surely it can't be real. But then again, there's a physical book. And this isn't just going into the realms of republished fanfiction either. It seems a new author has thrown his hat into the ring with one of the best fake names I have heard in this show.
The true story of the thieving fraud known as Daring Do? What? Why would AK Yearling write that about herself?
Oh, it looks
Just
like
gonna
she
say that,
didn't. This book says it's by Groom QQ Martingale.
Who?
Well, I guess he's a new writer.
Groom QQ Nightingale.
A bad one?
Yeah, pretty bad one, and given the fact we immediately hear, oh, it's written from Dr. Caballeron's point of view, you know it's going to be him in disguise. There's no getting around that fact. But Rainbow Dash wants to get to the bottom of what is going on, and as it happens, it turns out there's a book signing happening where AK Yearling is set to appear. And so they rush off to go and confront her and find out what exactly is going on.
I guess we're a little late to warn you about the new book, huh?
I always feared that someday every pony would learn Daring Do was real.
But why? Aren't you proud of your adventures?
Of course, but I'm not in it for the fame. The stories just seem too good to keep to
I
myself.
still wish that sometimes they would have got
I
Jem
wish I
Barrow
knew
to be
who
her
this
voice.
Martingale author was.
You
And
do!
why he's determined to ruin my character. And me.
Ah, good old angry mob mentality, eh? But it seems we don't have to wait too long to find out what's going on, as right across the street from where AK's signing is, there's also this new author signing their book, and Rainbow Dash, naturally being the hot-headed one she is, races over there to confront him.
Well. Up to your old tricks again, huh? Just like in Somnambula, spreading lies to make Daring Do look bad.
Would you sign our book?
I am just a simple author, telling it like it is.
Cheering the war.
Should I make it out to?
Fluttershy with 2 T's.
Now, seeing Dr. Caballeron's disguise, the first thing that came to my mind, because I'm British, is Uncle Albert from Only Fools and Horses. If you guys don't know, He's one of the sweetest, most charming men to ever grace a sitcom, but that's beside the point. Caballeron's disguise has a bit of a darker grey beard than Albert's snow-white one. But he seems to be holding up the pretense of being an author pretty well, even when confronted under pressure.
Publicity is good,
We aren't gonna let you get away with this, Caballeron.
Get away with what? I'm merely telling my side of the story.
You mean lying?
You think everything in A.K. Yearling's books are true? Daring Do in the Quetzal's Quest, she states
can't
that
tell
the
whether it's meant to be
Pangthorn
French or
flowers are
English,
red.
or Spanish.
They are blue.
So the book signing basically gets called off because Rainbow Dash is causing a scene, and afterwards, her and Fluttershy actually do confront the good doctor about what he is doing. Because he can't hold up the pretense for too long. It pretty much reveals it that it is him. And he lets them know that he's doing this because he feels he has to. He needs to give his side of the story. Rainbow Dash has none of this, but Fluttershy stays behind to listen to him, and we get a little bit of backstory.
My team and I were only ever interested in researching artifacts and taking them to our museum where other ponies could
Selling them
study.
for a big profit.
But Daring Do always seemed to get there first with her own plans. I offered to team up with her, but she refused. She had her own ideas of where the treasures belong.
So we see Fluttershy has joined the world of organised crime, going with Dr. Caballeron after falling for his story. She's going to be assisting him in the next one of his archaeological excursions. Much to Rainbow Dash's dismay, who now is basically in stark competition with her. And Rainbow Dash rushes off to tell A.K. Yearling what's happened, and they formulate a plan.
Oh.
Okay, you have to help me.
Oh no.
QQ Martingale is really Dr. Caballeron,
no.
and he has Fluttershy. The book thing was his new plan to ruin Daring Do's reputation. And he's trying to make my friend a criminal. They're off to Tenactine Land right now.
He must be after the truth talisman of Tonatiuh. It requires the wings of a Pegasus to retrieve it.
That's gotta be why Caballeron tricked
Then why
Fluttershy
haven't you
into
gone there
joining his
sooner?
gang.
It's up to us to stop him.
Now, unbeknownst to Fluttershy, it seems Dr. Caballeron's intentions may not be pure, as we find out that the temple that they are going to, the only one who can retrieve the artifact is a Pegasus, which Caballeron doesn't have any henchmen that are. So, he's now enlisted Fluttershy against her knowledge, but we see that while going through their excursion to get there, a few situations happen that Fluttershy proves herself quite capable with.
Hench cats.
Run! These ferocious beasts want to eat us for dinner!
That's a common misconception. Have you ever tried just talking to them?
That's crazy! You are on your own!
She's a goner.
I can't watch!
We're very sorry for coming into your territory. We're just passing through.
How did you do that?
They're just giant kitty cats, and it's so precious to see her just doing her thing, and seeing Caballeron and all the big thugs acting like absolute wimps.
You are more talented than I
Is that a
realized.
lynx or a...
Thanks.
ocelot?
I'm
I
having
think it's
the
a
best
lynx.
time with you all.
They continue towards the temple, and there is an Indiana Jones-ish kind of shtick where they have to wait for the sun to be at the highest point to shine through a stone to open up a dais on the ground to get into the temple. Wow, it sounds convoluted when you say it like that. But they do manage to get in, and A.K. Yearling and Rainbow Dash manage to just about sneak into the temple behind.
That was convenient.
Before the sun moves and it closes!
Oh yeah, and I did forget to mention Aoizoto's kind of entered into the picture as well. Although it's kind of obvious that he's going to be there when you see all of his cat minions turn up in the scene before. You know that he's going to be right behind. Fortunately though, he actually doesn't know about Fluttershy and Caballeron being there. He only knows about Daring Do and Rainbow Dash, so there is that little bit, but it doesn't really play into anything majorly. He's mainly just there because he is upset.
Daring Do, my old nemesis.
You may have outsmarted my jungle cats, but you cannot escape me!
We didn't see any cats.
Why does I just think he's
We're
just home
here to rescue
hunting?
Fluttershy.
It must be a coincidence that only a Pegasus can retrieve Donatello's treasure. And there are 2 of you here.
But I digress. As I say, all of them managed to get into the temple. They've escaped from the angry animals of the forest. They've escaped from Arizotl. Now they're doing the whole Indiana Jonesy bit of, we now need to get the amulet. The amulet of pure gold that only allows the person wearing it to tell the truth. Which kind of is good, but in the same way it's kind of pointless. Because usually you'd want it to be that the power is it allows the wearer to make anyone they're talking to tell the truth. Then again, Deus Ex Machina thingamajig of ultimate power, you know. And we see that Fluttershy does manage to retrieve it for Caballero. And it's at that point that everything starts to go bad.
Glad you didn't check what was down there first of all. Oh my god, please tell me they're gonna they're just gonna abandon Caballero.
Now, Caballero and his men do prove that over the course of it, they have started to actually genuinely like Fluttershy as a friend more than a means to an end, as they do save her, and they do help her out on several occasions. But this is where we have the 2 teams meet, and Rainbow Dash and Daring Do, I keep saying AK Yelling, it's Daring Do. They break into the main chamber and confront Caballero and Fluttershy about it, and this is where the MacGuffin comes into play.
Admit it, Caballero. You're only pretending to like Fluttershy because she has the wings you needed to steal the Truth Talisman. Isn't that right?
No! I admit that was the original reason, but my hench ponies and I have come
I
to
love the
value
weird
your
glowy
friendship
eyes.
and kindness.
Didn't see that coming.
Heartwarming moments aside, Arizotl also bursts onto the scene, and it seems that he knows a lot of tricks about this particular jungle. And he summons a fleet, or 3, gargoyles, which you could see around the room beforehand. A little bit of foreshadowing, but hey, it's nice to see that we got a new mythical race sort of appearing in, despite the fact they are just stone and magic. So we have the little fight scene with those, where we have Daring Do and Caballero ruminating on their previous adventures on a way to actually beat them, which is actually quite nice to see.
Caballero, do you still have the diamond of Lapis Lux?
Yes, I mean... yes, I mean... how did you know I stole it?
Lucky guess.
And so they do manage to best the gargoyles. And then upon getting into the next room, it's the big confrontation with Arizotl, although he was not expecting it. He gets caught off guard filing his nails. And so we have the usual rigmarole of they're trying to outmaneuver him, and he backs them into a corner. And pretty much, he is a big cat. And so, like with the cats earlier, it's Fluttershy that says, we need to hear him out, let's reason, we'll see if we can calm him down. And so we find the reason why Arizotl is always so, ferocious.
Well, the thing is, I'm in charge of protecting this jungle. If another artifact goes missing on my watch, I'm going to be in so much trouble with the other guardian creatures.
There are others?
That sounds like a lot of responsibility.
It is! And those 2 have taken so many relics from my land. My job is on the line. So, maybe I am a little...
Your job is on the...
ferocious.
Are you gonna be fired?
Can you blame me?
Yeah, lesser of 2 evils. It seems that Daring Do in this case was the bad guy, as well as Caballero. And after a little bit of talking out and sharing around the truth necklace, they all come to an understanding. He was only doing his job. Caballero needs to learn to listen a bit more. Daring Do thought she was protecting it, but turns out it wasn't. And whether or not every excursion they've been on has been in this one jungle, which is just insanely rich with artifacts, apparently, they come to the agreement that they will no longer interfere with each other. And It seems that Daring Do and Caballeron even reach an understanding, as we see that they themselves have gone into the writing game together as joint author partners. Also, I do have to laugh at the fact Caballeron, up to this point, seemingly didn't know that A.K. Yearling was Daring Do.
I promise. I'll even write that in my next book.
Your next book? You mean you're actually A.K. Yearling?
Don't tell any pony.
But we do end on a bit of a twist, as it turns out there is a new author who's thrown their hat into the ring. And we end the episode...
We've been upstaged by a new author.
And so the noble Awizotl bravely toiled day and night to protect the jungle's precious artifacts.
Yeah, Awizottl's an author now. This magical temple guardian that has been in all of the Daring Do books has suddenly come out as an author. The books that were meant to be fiction, this big creature, is now an author in the public eye. I'm not even going to question the ramifications, but given how earlier Daring Do / AK was getting such stick about the works meant to be fiction, but now it turns out they're real, and the public outcry to that. So seeing Awizotl come out of nowhere, unless he's using a pseudonym, which I doubt he can because of the way he purely looks, this is going to cause a lot of consternation, because it pretty much does mean that AK was lying when she says it's all fiction. That's now blown out the water. But that's the episode. It was a pretty decent one. Not gonna lie, I do enjoy the Daring Do romps, and I do like Dr. Caballeron. And whether or not the backstory was false or not, it never gets proven. Whether he actually did own a museum that got shut down, we can't say. He never had the truth necklace when he said that one, so it could be true, it could not be. But he was the standout character in this. And the little filly who was concerned about puppy kicking. She was my favourite. But what did you guys think of the episode? Did you like it? Did you not? On my scale of 1 to 10, this one gets... it gets a 6. It's nice and comfortable, but nothing stellar, nothing groundbreaking. So a nice comfortable 6 out of 10, right there, just above average. Nice one that you can put in the books. Let me know what you thought down below though in the comments, and make sure you like the video, share it around, subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And tell me if there were any cameos or little Easter eggs that I missed, outside of the obvious Indiana Jones references, because there were too many of those to go on. And until the next video guys, bye bye.